Welcome to the Polymath Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. John Andrew Morrow, and this is the place where we educate, enlighten, and inspire. Today, we're looking at the many faces of fraud, computerized face comparison by Amazon Rekognition. Amazon Rekognition is more than 80% accurate when it comes to distinguishing similar-looking people. It's also 35% more accurate in recognizing people who have significantly altered their appearance. It identifies the same individual, irrespective of changes in facial hair, hairstyle, hair color, the presence or absence of glasses, and so forth. A study conducted by Joy and Deborah Rudgy found that the software was 83.5% accurate. Another study found that the program was 98% accurate in distinguishing identical twins. That's impressive. The ACLU found that Amazon Rekognition was 99.9997% accurate, but that it still produced some false matches. While not fail-proof, the program is exceedingly effective in identifying individuals. Dr. Edward Muhammad, who is a professor, was the first academic, as far as I know, to use Rekognition to compare what is claimed to be the earliest photos of W.D. Farad with the photographs of Wally Dodd Ford and Wallace Farad from Los Angeles and Detroit. So I give credit where credit is due. The program concluded with 99.9% confidence that they were different people. After he shared his findings with me, I verified them and was open to the evidence. I considered the possibility that they were indeed different people. A more in-depth analysis suggests that the conclusions drawn from the analysis are incorrect, as this study will show. Anton Bataille was the first researcher, as far as I know, to compare the various photos of Wally Dodd Ford and Wallace Farad using Rekognition. The program concluded, and he shared his findings with me, with 82 to 99% confidence that they were photos of the same person. So after he shared his findings with me, I confirmed them. And that's what science is all about, verification. And in addition, I subjected a plethora of photos to facial comparison analysis. The findings which follow are fascinating. So, first, I compared the official W.D. Farad photograph, which is from around maybe 1934, okay, with that of Muhammad Abdullah. And this is the person that many people claimed, well, some people claimed that he was actually Master Farad. And it's been debunked repeatedly, and I think definitively, but nonetheless, it still lingers out there. So I had access to this program. Why not compare these two photographs? The results? Not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. Doesn't get more absolute than that. It was only 0.3% similar. Okay, so this guy doesn't even look like him. I compared another photograph, the official W.D. Farad photograph, with Muhammad Abdullah, and it came back again. Not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. It was only 1.3% similar. Still, statistically insignificant. I did it again with another photograph. It wasn't a facial match, 99.9% confidence. It was only 1% similar in that case. And the last one, not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. This one was only 0.36% similar. So the theory that Muhammad Abdullah was W.D. Farad can once again be laid to rest. And finally, for good, one would hope, It's getting old. Then I compared, because this rumor's been circulating for quite some time, that this individual in an early photo of the MSTA, the Moorish Science Temple, some people claim that that was actually Master Farad Muhammad. But when I compared a photo of Wallace Farad, Wali Ford, right, W.D. Farad, with that individual with the Turkish hat, it came back as not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. However, I can understand why some people thought there was some similarity. According to this program, they're 17.4% similar. So that's, that's something there. The fanciful theory that this early member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, purported to be David Ford L., was W.D. Farad, can now be scientifically set aside for good. There's a degree of resemblance between both men, which explains why some amateur writers came up with this claim. Apparently, the man is really Aaron Payne Bey, according to what I've been told. But of course, that needs to be verified as well. So then I compared two of the official photos of Master Farad Muhammad, and curiously, they were not a facial match with 99.9 confidence. Now, if these are both official photographs of W.D. Farad that circulate among members of the Nation of Islam, and none of them would ever dispute that both of these photographs are of Master Farad. However, according to Rekognition, they're not a facial match. So that is highly suspicious. Okay, and we'll get into why a little bit later. The photo to the left is supposed to be the earliest or one of the earliest of W.D. Farad, and namely with the one with the flag in the upper left-hand side. Edward Muhammad had the photograph subjected to forensic analysis. All right, so he took that extra step. The results found that the photo itself was genuine, but that the flag had been inserted. So, he was arguing that, Farad himself has not been altered. It's just that flag that's been altered. But we do have evidence that these photographs were being altered. So here we have that photograph. According to Edward Muhammad, he thinks this is the oldest or one of the oldest photographs. And it could be one of the oldest ones. But we'll see. Question mark. That's a big question mark. Is this the oldest photo of W.D. Farad? I don't think so. We'll see. According to Rekognition, the two photos do not represent the same person with 99% certainty. However, they're the same individual. No one's going to dispute that. This is why it is cautious to avoid rushing to judgment. Rekognition has noticed some significant differences or discrepancies. Hence, it has raised red flags, as it should rightly do when it comes to facial verification, security access, law enforcement purposes, or customs and immigration. Okay, so he couldn't get through customs. Yeah, you couldn't get into a high security building. The differences might be slight, but they're significant according to this computer. Rather than jump to conclusions, it's imperative to examine the detailed analysis provided by Rekognition. Now, I'm not going to share these here, and this is independently verifiable. You can take all these photographs, you can run them through Rekognition, and you will find that your findings will align with mine. That's science. Is it verifiable? Can you prove it? Now, I'm not including them here because they're very long and complex. Hence, only the most crucial component is provided here. The person in the first photo is 83.35% the same as the person in the other photo. So this is clearly a match. Rekognition has recognized that the second photograph has been edited and altered. It could also be struggling with its inadequate quality. The higher the quality of the images, the sharper they are, the greater the resolution, and the more similar the pose, the more accurate the analysis. Rekognition refuses to ignore the unusual texture and pixelation of the second photo. The dark rectangle, in the ear, the full set of hair, which is not parted. Rekognition has noticed that there is something fishy about the second photograph, and rightfully so. So rather than conclude with 99% certainty that these are two different people, the correct conclusion is that the second photograph has been doctored with 99% certainty. So let's look at two other photographs here. We have an official photograph of W.D. Farad from around, 34 latest, and another photo of Wallace Dodd Ford. And so this is what Edward Muhammad was doing. And it came back as not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. And then he did, I did the same with all kinds of photographs. This other photograph here, sideways, not a facial match with 99% confidence. And then yet another photograph, not a facial match with 99% confidence, and not a facial match with 99% confidence. The other one, not a facial match with 99.8% confidence. Another one, not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. And finally, another one, not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. And I compared the official W.D. Farad with the newspaper photograph of Wallace Farad in the police station in 1932 in Detroit. Again, not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. And there was another photo that surfaced recently that's supposed to be one of Master Farad. It's alleged. And again, not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. And so Edward Muhammad, that was the result, not a facial match with 99.9% confidence. So he concluded that they were different people, and I entertained the possibility that that was the case. However, it appears that he didn't actually go and read the code, okay? And in the code, we find something very fascinating, all right? Now, that first photograph that wasn't a facial match with almost complete certainty was found to be 65.28% similar. Hello. The next one, it was found to be 57% similar. The other one, 51.57% similar. The other one, 47.61% similar. The other, 42.29% similar. And the other one, 40.68% similar. And the other one was 14.7% similar. And there was, that other one there, 36% similar. And hold on, we have the last one here, 93% similar. So wait a second, you can't just go and look and say, okay, so it concluded it's with 99.9% confidence that these photos don't match, that the person doesn't match. But if you go and read the code, it says they're 93% similar. What are the odds of that? Aha! Hasty conclusions can lead to the belief that the person in the official photograph of W.D. Farad is not Wally Dodd Ford from Los Angeles or Wallace Farad from Detroit. The conclusion, however, would be false. Rekognition has its limitations. Its accuracy is impacted by black and white photographs, poor resolution, and different poses. Identical poses are more accurate face-to-face as opposed to face-to-side. When Rekognition indicates with 99% certainty that the photos do not match, it is because there are flaws in the photographs and that there is something inherently problematic with the official W.D. Farad photo. As much as Edward Muhammad's forensic analysis suggests that the photo is genuine except for the flag, suspicion is warranted. The addition of the flag is immaterial. It is the image of Farad himself that is important, and that photo has been tampered with. A comparison of all the official W.D. Farad photos in circulation clearly shows that the photograph was being altered as early as 1934. In fact, the book that W.D. Farad holds in the photograph reproduced in the August 11th, 1934 edition of The Final Call is extremely thin, much thinner than the one that appears in what is purported to be the original and authentic photograph, the official standard. W.D. Farad's photos have been doctored. Did this take place after his occultation? Or did it occur while he was present and with his active knowledge and participation? Fake aliases and altered photos form part of the same modus operandi. Although Rekognition raises red flags when it raised red flags when it compared the official standard photo of W.D. Farad to those of Wally D. Ford and Wallace Farad, it qualifies its findings by noting that they are 15%, 36%, 41%, 42%, 52%, 57%, and 65% similar. These are not the results you find when comparing two different people. So like when compared to Muhammad Abdullah, whom many people or some people or whatever thought looked like Farad, there was only 0.3, 0.4, 1% or 1.3% similarity. Now, when we compare the photographs of Wally D. Ford and Wallace Farad, it comes back. Facial match, 99.9%. Facial match, 93.6%. Facial match, 98.9%. Interestingly, this one here, not a facial match with 99.8% confidence. Well, why is that? Well, look at the right one. It's all dark here. It's not face to face, it's face to side. The resolution is terrible. Nonetheless, the program recognizes that they're like almost 60% the same. So this is clearly the same man. The problem is not the man. The problem is the resolution of this photo here. So there's no doubt that the last two photographs represent the same person. This shows, however, that Rekognition cannot make correct matches when the image quality is poor and the pose is radically different. What is clear from these comparisons is that Wallace Farad, Wallace Dodd Ford, and Wally D. Ford, who was previously Fred Dodd, were the same. But was this man W.D. Farad? Absolutely. This is the man that was arrested and charged in Detroit for being the leader of the Allah Temple of Islam. There is a mountain range of evidence supporting this fact. According to Amazon Rekognition, Muhammad Abdullah was not W.D. Farad, nor was the Moor who was alleged to be David Ford L., but appears to be Aaron Payne Bate. As the results demonstrate, the man in the 1926 Los Angeles mugshots is the same one as the one in the 1933 Detroit mugshots. Wally Dodd Ford and Wallace Farad were the same. Is the man known as Wallace Farad, Wallace Dodd Ford, and Wally D. Ford the one who appears in the official Nation of Islam photograph? Rekognition is 99% certain that they are not the same. Almost 100%. 99.9%. However, this comes with an important caveat. They are 15, 36, 41, 42, 52, 57, and 65% similar. How do we make sense out of this? When Rekognition concludes that the photos compared are not the same with 99% certainty, it depends on the threshold that is set. The program is automatically set at an 80% threshold. This is suitable for locating family members for genealogical purposes. Amazon recommends a threshold of at least 95% for law enforcement uses. For high security building access, Amazon advises a threshold of 99%. So you better look exactly like your photo, and that better be a high resolution, a fantastic quality photo. In other words, if we lower the threshold to 50, 60, or 65% similarity, the official photograph of W.D. Farad and the photos of Wally D. Ford and Wallace Farad come back as positive matches. Aha! You just need to go and change the settings. What is more, merely varying the resolution, as I have done, alters the outcome. right? I will take two, I'll change the resolution. Okay? I'll make it clearer. I'll make it all fuzzy. There's a clear correlation. So, yeah, when I improve the quality, the program's confidence level increases. When I lower the resolution, it decreases. This explains why it's not recognizing some of those photos as being as belonging to the same person. Are we dealing with different people or different quality images of the same person? The odds of two people having identical faces are 1 in a trillion. The odds of two people having identical faces are 1 in a trillion, like I said. The odds of having a look-alike or doppelganger are 1 in 135, incredibly. That's the odd. I mean, there's someone out there who looks exactly like me. There's someone out there who looks exactly like you. It's 1 in 135. The odds of having an identical twin are 1 in 250. It is therefore improbable that W.D. Farad had a double. Could W.D. Farad or Elijah Muhammad have used a stand-in, a decoy, or an actor in his place? Perhaps. However, the odds that such a person's face would be 65% the same as W.D. Farad's are remote. So we need more photos, and we need better quality ones to compare. That's it for today. Fascinating stuff.